Over the years, Fortnite Creative has become more than just a game, but a tool, especially with the launch of UEFN in spring 2023. So in the autumn of 2023, I started reaching out to some respected developers, musicians, artists, and a lot of other people in the space to help me build better games. Because as much as I'd love to, sometimes you just can't do everything on your own. This is what we made. Welcome to the world of Snapshots Venture 2. This video will serve as a sort of dev documentary covering the first 3 seasons. Snapshots Battle Royale serves not only as a fun playground to build a world in, but as an experiment to create brand new tech that will be used in other projects. And I like it because it proves that I know what the hell I'm talking about. I spend all this time, all these videos yapping about knowing how Fortnite works, and I would like to think that this proves that I've got the skill set to back up the yap. But let's head back to where it all started, in the summer of 2024. During the first year of UEFN's release, I toyed around with a few maps that just weren't shaping up to be what I wanted. I felt overwhelmed with this new toolset, with all the different things I could now do, and my ambition was growing and growing without the experience to achieve it. But in June 2024, Epic released Reload, a sized-down, fast-paced arcade version of Fortnite, and I absolutely fell in love with it. Reload is an absolutely beautiful game. It's fast, it's full of action and fun, and there's really never a dull moment. But looking past the gameplay, playing on this map gave me a great big burst of motivation. I was thinking too big, too ambitious, when I really should play to my strengths and create a smaller scale map, like in the old days. So I played to my strengths. I used the Reload map as a rough base to create landscape from. I painted the roads because frankly I suck at using road splines, and I'm not amazing at or patient enough for detailed paintwork, so I opted for a nice blend instead. And collating a set of 9 brand new POIs, by September it was about ready for release. Starting a new chapter like this, committing to a new map for years to come, can be pretty scary. But after attending Unreal Fest Seattle at the start of October and achieving the UEFN Create Twitter seal of approval, I knew I was ready to lock in. On October 15th, 2024, Snapshots Venture 2 launched. So, let's take a look at the Venture 2 Season 1 map on launch day. Easily the most iconic POI on the map, Floral Favela is inspired by the Greek architecture of Mykonos, especially as it appears in Sonic Unleashed as Apatos. This is a design style that my trusted co-level designer Call Me Nearly has been toying with since 2023, and his integration here combined with some touches of my own makes for a really idyllic seaside town, and my favourite on this entire map. I love this place, I love it. I'm never letting it die. It's never getting removed. Floral Favela, 50 seasons. Supply Station is my answer to the question, where are supply drops manufactured? This POI went through a few different designs over an 18-month period, but this final design featuring the colours of the supply drop and this giant supply crate statue, I love it a lot. I've always loved the look of the power plant POI. I just think the cooling towers add a lot to the skyline, so Slappy Stacks is here to scratch that itch. Maple Meadows sits in this really cozy, autumnal rolling hills biome. This whole biome is really quite nice. I really love the red willow trees and the mushroom stacks. The purpose of this POI was to have a more relaxed, down-to-earth, Pleasant Park style suburb, because I think that helps to balance out some of the more unique out there town designs like Floral Favela, and I think I achieved that to the point where it's basically a dollar store Pleasant Park. The entire purpose of this POI is to be boring, but reliable, and I think it does that quite well. Not every location has to be super crazy, as long as they're well made. Anarchy Abodes is a personal underrated favourite town for me. It's got this really nice architecture style, and I love the bridge splitting the more suburban bit to the slightly industrial mini-hub to the north. The river going through, it's got this really nice energy to it. Saucy Strip is the tomato town of Snapshots, except infinitely more awesome because it uses the Saucy Sausage branding and has a shark dog car. Also a Skibbity Toilet Easter egg. I'm so sorry. This POI was actually originally themed around the Tender Defender because we thought it was kinda strange he never got a dedicated POI, so we were to call it Tender Town. Unfortunately, there really aren't any good fried chicken assets, so we decided to switch to the underrated saucy sausage branding because, well, chili dogs are awesome. Duh. Loot Lake, check the spelling on that, is the mystical central POI on this map. It's got some colourful cabins to explore, crystals adorning the surrounding landscape, and of course a mysterious round stone at the very centre that I'm sure won't be important to the lore later on, definitely not. This POI actually looked very different for quite some time, with a darker biome, lots of pink trees, and a different layout. But I felt this was too messy and unfocused, so I decided to clean it up into what it is today. Rapid Resort is a pretty obscure spot. The main POI is a big leisure centre with a pool out back, but there's also a really cool little restaurant as well as a small gym. But this place was kinda designed with the summer in mind, but with Venture 2 dropping in October, and Resort then getting very quickly replaced in Season 2, I think perhaps it didn't quite get to shine where it could have. Ah well, we're appreciating it now, aren't we? Frantic Fields is a farm. Yeah, it's not super interesting really, I just wanted to play around with farm field painting, and it's a nifty little spot. Since the rest of the map is quite hilly, this was a good opportunity for a slightly more flat area to balance out the height variation a bit more. On top of the 9 new POIs, Classy Condos returns from Venture 1 Season 6 in 2022. It's largely the same, but with some minimal layout changes and a couple of extra buildings. I do love the opportunity to bring back and remaster some of my past work, and Classy Condos is one of my all-time faves. And that's the base Venture 2 map. I really love this map. I think there's a lot of jank in some of the changes and future seasons were very much needed, but overall I think it's a really strong foundation for what's to come. This map is a true love letter to the Fortnite maps I loved to play in my youth. It's not only the 10 named POIs either, there's a ton of little landmarks spread across the map that are chock full of references and fan service. There's a cliffside Durburger, a big monster skeleton, a logjam lumberyard, ruined shacks, a modern house stranded in the middle of this lake, this Snobby Shores-esque building on the cliff, Flopper Pond, Harvey's house, an adorable rundown motel in the autumnal foothills, this weird house where every prop is from the Wild West, and this cute, like, mini Weeping Woods-esque forest. Oh, and who can forget Janky Junk, the scrapyard with a Lethal Company reference hidden amongst the rubble. With Season 1 releasing in October, you'd think Season 2 would follow not far behind. December, January maybe? No. Season 2 released in March of 2025, so let me explain that real quick. I wasn't just sitting around twiddling my thumbs for 5 months. On top of winter midterms, a lot of this time was spent upgrading Snapshots to what I like to call the Alipack framework. Alipack is an incredible Fortnite private server modding project headed by respected data miner and certified chill guy AliJax, and a lot of late 2024 and early 2025 was spent converting a lot of the technical marvels engineered for that project, which is structured around Fortnite release 9.10, to latest build UEFN friendly systems. Here are just a few of the technical advancements in Season 2. We completely rebuilt the Apollo foliage set from the ground up, complete with unique animations, sounds, imposter LODs, and hit effects, a world first for UEFN, giving us greater customization to set up game features like dynamic biomes. We've got greater customization over the visual design of the landscape, and it just generally looks a lot nicer, with advanced biome masking support that you'll see later on, and individually modeled elements that make everything feel more 3D. Volumetric clouds are a rendering feature that simulates realistic 3-dimensional clouds that interact dynamically with lighting and atmospheric effects. Basically, this allows for more realistic depth, shadowing, scattering effects, and you can skydive through them too. And yup, we got them. Not a world first for UEFN, but pretty close. The UI has been stylized with a completely custom status bar featuring a dynamic material health, shield bar, number tracking, and displays player info like your username and your current outfit icon. This design would get refined a little bit more in Season 3. We also use a material for the minimap so we can dynamically control elements such as whether there are grid lines, additional overlays, etc. And finally, this compass up here is a material that tracks the direction you're facing via post-process zones, rotating a texture to match. It's pretty janky internally, but it mostly works. We worked super hard to push the boundaries of what is possible in UEFN visually while working with a large destructible world. All the devices and materials, no verse, but it's complex behind the scenes. And on top of that, the Season 2 update was actually pretty huge in terms of content. Season 2 is titled After Hours. I first had the idea for this season way back in October 2023, with a lot of the building work being done way back between November 23 and February 24. The inspiration from this season comes from the GTA Online Diamond Casino heist. I've always loved the neon-drenched vibe of that mission, and I wanted to recreate that experience in Snapshots, with a casino heist of our own. As such, the headlining POI here is the Gilded Gambit, an elaborate casino compound filled to the brim with leisurely activities to engage in. This POI was very much a huge team effort, with the most propping contributors out of any Snapshots location to date. Now, gambling is very much not allowed in UEFN projects, but I still wanted to do this, so I came up with a workaround. These machines are timed input minigames, where if you win, you get a legendary weapon, and if you lose, you get nothing and you can't play again. But you don't lose anything. Gambling is officially canon to Snapshots, kinda. How's that for a world first? There's also a vault in the basement. I've wondered about the best way to integrate a more complex vault heisting system for years, but in a moment of pure luck and good timing, the Fortnite season Lawless dropped just a few weeks before After Hours was scheduled to drop, bringing the super advanced bank vault device with it. The contents of the vault itself, a randomly selected heisted exotic, never changed. This POI was originally called Roulette Road, but we decided that the Gilded Gambit sounded more fitting both for a business brand name and for an individual building. Classy City replaces Classy Condos. Condos was my favorite POI from the Creative 1.0 era, so this was a pretty difficult change, but I think City is a worthy upgrade. Classy City is designed as a power POI for the middle of the map where you can get a ton of loot and get around really quickly. The bulk of this location was designed by Jaff in December 23, and he did a really great job. But it was designed with a bigger map in mind, so when putting it into After Hours, I felt it just didn't have enough character to justify the amount of space it takes up, so I spruced it up, gave it a little bit more pep. Sunset Stage was designed by Doopy with two purposes in mind. One, I really like risky reels, and I like to have a homage to it on every map I make as a sort of creative signature. But it was also created to serve as the set for my collab concert with the indie band Computer Sad, which holds the distinction of being the first UEFN concert not overseen directly by Epic Games, so that's pretty cool. I first reached out to Computer Sad way back in June 23, and it was such a fun experience working with them and making this. Overall, this is just a really nice take on the drive-in theatre POI. It is distinctly its own location with a lot of detailing, but still rings very reminiscent of Risky Reels. It feels like a sort of upgraded Risky, like what if Epic made Risky Reels today? Rocky Rig is not the most elaborate POI, it pretty much only exists because I wanted an excuse to use this classic style stone reef I made like 2 years ago. It's nothing crazy, I just like how it looks and it adds a little extra unique area to the outskirts of the map. I love my archipelagos, and Snapshots Venture 2 didn't have one until now. Oh, and who could forget Potion Port, this lovely slurp-tastic little dockyard that I love so much. I love the decals, I love the slurp going into the ocean, totally not pollution right there. It's great, I love it. There are a few smaller map changes too, most notable is the Neo Slipstream network that goes around the entire island, with a couple of small terminals to enter or depart from. I like slipstreams because they've become part of the skyline. They're not this huge standout thing, but they actually change the movement and the rotations of the map in a lot of unexpected ways. The classic Station 99 landmark brought over from Venture 1 is replaced by an arms-dealing black market, and the Durr Burger has become a Durr Sushi to serve the nearby Classy City. Also, the season has changed and the autumnal forest has become a lush green grassland, with Maple Meadows renamed Mossy Meadows. It just looks nice. This season also features the first ever large-scale Snapshots IP collaboration, thanks to the official IP tools Epic have started to roll out to creators. I was at Unreal Fest when Epic announced the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles set, so it only seemed fitting that Snapshots starts off with a TMNT crossover event. It's a full circle moment. Obviously, the big appeal of a collab like this is the items you can add, like the mythic turtle powers or the TMNT driftboard, but what I was most excited about is the ability to make limited time map changes to really integrate the world of the collab into the world of Snapshots. So for 2 weeks in May, Saucy Strip became Radical Road, a slice of New York York with apartments, graffiti, and Easter eggs galore, with the evil Foot Clan's Goop Factory and the iconic Channel 6 building. Elsewhere, Kang's Mobile Fortress, the Technodrome, squashed Dusted Depot. This thing is super sci-fi. I absolutely love how detailed the interior is. The art team at Epic knocked it out of the park on this one. I also placed 2 little dojos across the map with secret sewer tunnels within to discover underground hideouts where you can chill, eat pizza, and just generally be a bodacious individual. This was surreal, being able to make an official collaboration with a massive brand IP and put it into Snapshots. I mean, that's crazy. That's unreal. That brings us to June 2025, where we got to launch a season I've been incredibly excited about for a very long time. Food Fight. While this season isn't as big as After Hours, it features possibly the most creative and unique season theme we've ever done, and the first major biome update since 2022's Island Bane, and it actually brings back a scrapped idea from that season. As a kid, I really loved the ROM hack newer Super Mario Bros. Wii, and in that game, there is a spooky Halloween world with orange grass and giant pumpkins adorning the landscape. I've wanted to have a biome with this vibe for years, but we just didn't have the right props for it, until Fortnite 24 brought these big boys. This is the Tasteland, a beautiful crimson forest with lots of cliffs and height variation. I wanted this place to really feel like you're in a rural, autumnal woodland with lots of nature and shrubbery around you, and I think that I achieved that vibe quite well here. There are a few little castles scattered around this biome. They're not anything special, although this one is called Peaky Twine, little reference for you. But the main focus of this biome is its namesake location, the Tasteland. The Tasteland ended up being one of my all-time favourite POIs. It's got this really unique mixture of tiles and assets, and I think the layout complements it really well. It's very reminiscent of Salty Springs and Boney Burbs in the best way possible. There's a food truckload of detail in every facet of this town and the surrounding area. And a reference to a Minecraft movie, because like, okay, it was the big thing when I was finishing up on this POI, okay, leave me alone. I think the colours of the biome and its location on the map just complements this POI so well. I think it all just blends together so nicely to create a fresh, completely new feeling spot on the map. However, outside of that biome, Season 3's other headlining POI is Faulty Frontier, a ruined castle that divots half of Saucy Strip. RIP. This place is seriously atmospheric. It's super nice to walk around in the rainy ruins here. It's one of my all-time favorite aesthetics, and I'm glad we finally got to do it in Snapshots. Rainy, ruined castles, that's awesome! Elsewhere, this random gas stop got taken over by the kind folks over at Bird. The final map change is of course the most important of all. This little duck island by Slappy Stacks. Look at him, he's so cute. But that's pretty much it for Season 3. It's a fairly light season in terms of changes, but what has changed is pretty substantial. Also, there's a massive rift in the sky, so that's pretty cool. The main technical upgrade this season is switching to a custom time of day manager, since the one Snapshots previously used throughout Venture 1 and in After Hours had been deprecated by Epic. Ultimately, this is a blessing in disguise. Having full control over the skybox, lighting, day-night cycle, etc. gives us a huge bandwidth and options for visual updates later on down the line. The water looks a lot nicer as well. That's the latest alley pack upgrade at work. I am really proud of the evolution of the first 3 seasons of Snapshots Venture 2. This first trilogy of seasons have been so much fun to make. It's been a long road, but I cannot think of a better group of people to work on stuff with. So, I would like to thank Nearly and AliJax for both doing a ton of work on this map. And I would also like to thank the following people for their contributions to level design, material work, tech support, HLOD building, being ideas guys, and so much more. Sir Detergent, Crutsy, Doopy, X-Empire, Nova J, Power Clash, Big Boomer, Nubus, Gatox, Johnny Boy, Litten, Nix, The Zero Crew, Dude Creates, Bunny, Zigma Maps, Milo Loves Benji, Leo J, and of course, I'd like to thank all of you for playing, watching, and otherwise supporting this passion project. I was so wrapped up in that winter 2024 period that I almost missed passing the 25,000 subscriber milestone just before Christmas, and that's just nuts. That is unreal. On top of that, Snapshots hit a peak concurrent player count of over 1,400 people playing at the same time during Venture 2 Season 1. We've come a long way from the early days in 2022. So whether you're just joining us with After Hours and Food Fight, or if you've been dropping onto the Snapshots Island since it first began over 3 years ago, thank you. And as for all the people that still think it makes you cool or edgy to hate on passion project maps in the Big 25, boo, take a look at this!